Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do the collective tarot for today. Today is Saturday, August 30th, 2025. You may follow me on the Attack the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, God's kiss. We love that for you. Whatever does not, just leave it on the table for someone else. We don't want you taking on energy that wasn't meant for you. Got it? Did you hear me? Hello? We're going to use Intuitive City Oracle by Rob Barthelman. You can find this at intuitiveintention.com, My Intuitive Intention on Etsy, and he also sells his decks in the TikTok shop. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I went for a 3-mile walk earlier and I roasted my tootie off. Then I come home and I'm like, oh, I'm going to sit in the sun. Yeah, no, the sun went away, but I fell asleep anyway. Oh, I got all my gear on, to tan, and I'm just laying out there, half asleep, no sun. We got 1 on the table, 2 on the table, 1 major. Three on the table, 2 major. Four on the table, 2 major, 1 card in reverse. Five on the table, 2 majors, 1 card in reverse. This one kind of came out sideways. Okay, I'm going to leave it sideways. That way I remember to talk about it. I'm getting old. Sometimes we forget. Six on the table. Six on the table, 2 majors, 1 in reverse. Let's do 2 more shuffles. My eye. We got 8 on the table, 2 major, 1 card in reverse. I'm going to set that right there. When I got these hoodies, they have a very long string for your hood, and I tied it off saying I was going to cut it, and I forgot. That's why I'm looking at it and I'm laughing. We got 10 of Cups, the Devil, The World. We've got Queen of Wands in reverse. We've got the King of Cups. This is the one that came out sideways. We've got Queen of Cups. Eight of Swords. And bottom of the deck, Queen of Pentacles. Feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. Okay, why did I just hear that in my head? A man with no self-control is unattractive. A man that can't stand on his own 2 feet, period, unattractive, period. Don't get me wrong, I like that. I could probably use that on one of my postings or something. But I'm like, what? What? Why? Oh, pardon me. So I don't know it, like, because for me, like, I'm getting like somebody's 10 of Cups is not working out. It is not the 10 of Cups that they thought it was going to be. Like they thought, like someone thought that this was going to be, thought that this was going to be their like greatest accomplishment, their greatest achievement. Getting into some type of union, having a family, whatever that means for you. But with the Devil and the Queen of Wands in reverse, and the fact that the King of Cups came out sideways, when you look at it in the reverse, Rob Barthelman put on their manipulation. When you look at it in the upright, it says balanced heart. It's like there's a lot of negativity surrounding a connection. And the Queen of Cups, the Eight of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, it's like somebody waking up to the fact that this connection wasn't meant for them and feeling like, okay, well, if this isn't meant for me, then what the hell is meant for me? Because like I thought this was it. Like I thought this was for me. And, you know, did I do something wrong? Did they do something wrong? How did I not see this coming? Like I didn't use my intuition, da 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 da. And with the Queen of Pentacles, it's kind of like looking at the situation and being like, okay, shit happens. Okay, I got to heal myself and move on from this. But what's next? And if something, well, here, let me hold this up. if something like this is to come back around, am I going to know it? Or am I going to get into this when really it's more like this? It's this. Like, I don't want to, kind of like that energy of like, I don't want to have to keep going through this. So when is this going to stop? Because like I thought this was it. And it doesn't necessarily, I mean, to me, Ten of Cups is some type of family situation, whatever that means for you. I always say that me and my 4 cats were a family. So, I mean, take how it resonates. But like if you're looking at like a couple and some kids and a home situation and you thought that this was bananas and it turns out to be turnips. I'm just kidding. I love turnips. But anyway, it turns out to be crap and this isn't the person you're supposed to be with and you weren't supposed to get into this connection and it's nothing but a pain in the ass. And it's something that wears on you and it wears on the other person and it wears on the family as a whole. It's kind of like, well then, like why? Like, how come I didn't see this? I can say this too. We change, right? We change. Other people change. I always say you can't make somebody change, but somebody can change themselves. You can change yourself. So somebody could have gotten into a connection and thought it was the 10 of Cups, thought it was the best thing that ever happened to them. Get married, have a couple kids, have the white picket fence, the dog, the cat, the minivan. And, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, like it's not working. But again, it's not necessarily because that situation was never supposed to happen. It's because you changed or they changed or both of you changed or the situation changed. Let me put it like this. You get married, have a couple kids, everything seems like it's going great. One day you get called into the office and they're like, hey, Ted, hey, Kathy, like we need you to move 3 states over and run the office, in Kentucky. And someone has to pick up their family, their wife, their husband, their kids, and move to Kentucky. And when you settle there, it falls to shit. Because the energy changes, the flow changes, the relationship changes, the dynamic changes, possibly moving away from your whole family and uprooting your family and taking them to another state, and your kids have to start new schools and your wife or your husband has to get a new job, and like things are stressful, life is stressful. All of that has an impact on you, on the relationship as a whole, the family as a whole. People are always like, oh, this divorce came out of nowhere. Yeah, but did it? Oh, my husband or my wife cheated on me out of nowhere. Yeah, but did it? Did they? Are you sure? Because I've been there. I was separated. I got divorced. I've told you guys this before. If you like, follow, and subscribe. I'm always honest. I always tell the truth. I cheated on my ex-husband. Technically didn't sleep with anybody, but I was already talking to other men, other women online. Like I was already gone. Like I was gone up here, I was gone here. Like I was already gone. And when I was honest with him, I told him, okay, like, well, we can try and make it work. I mean, it didn't even get into it like a day, and I was like, this is not going to work, because I had already changed. I had been changing for months, maybe even a year or more. Like I had been changing and having new ideas and thinking differently about myself and thinking differently about him. He didn't change. I changed. That threw off the whole dynamic. That threw off the whole relationship. If I hadn't woken up, if I hadn't started healing myself, if I hadn't started doing other things, we would still be there. We would still be living in the almost $500,000 house. I would still be very unhappy, I'm sure. And he'd be happy as a clam because he was taken care of. I'm just saying that's all it takes is one little energy shift. One person to have an idea or a thought out of the norm, right? One person to be like, there's something off about this. And then they start quietly walking away. Because they realize, this isn't what they wanted. This isn't what they thought it was going to be. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. I mean, this could literally go for anything. A work environment, a friendship, a family member, your relationship with your dog. It just takes one little change for somebody to, one little change, and everything gets thrown off course. Everything starts to change, And I've been there. I've gone through the separation. I've gone through the divorce, and I like to think of my ex-husband and I as friends, and that we should have always been friends, right? I think about him, and I think we just always should have been friends. I should have never married him. We should, we should have never went down that road. But at the time, I wasn't healing. I did what I thought, was expected of me, and, what I thought I wanted at the time. But I was a different person. Years later, I started to change. I started to evolve. And I moved on from that. And in one instance, it sucks, right? For him and me, it sucks. But at the same time, it was liberation. It was freedom. Because that just was not where I was supposed to be. At least not any longer. And I don't think, the Eight of Swords, being in your head about it and feeling bad about it. I mean, yeah, those are all normal reactions. But at the end of the day, you're going to come into some type of enlightenment and realize that everything happens for a reason. Everything is for a season, right? We've been talking about this a lot lately. What is meant for you will never leave you. Who's to say that somebody isn't in this family dynamic and it's not working? So 2 people get divorced. They share custody of their kids. 10 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 10 years down the road, they get back together. And maybe they don't get married this time. Maybe they just live together, happy for the rest of their lives. And their kids are like, oh shit, you guys are back together, Who's to say that that's not going to happen? I'm just saying, if you want to beat yourself up about it, okay, fine. I've been there. I did that. But at the end of the day, you got to move on either way. And honestly, if you're the one that changed, if you're the one that evolved, if you're the one that started healing, don't feel bad about that. I know it sucks for everybody else involved, whoever else is involved, but you can't feel bad about that. Because that's what we're meant to do continuously throughout life. You should always be moving, right? There should always be a flow. If you're in a relationship, if you're in a family dynamic and nothing is ever evolving, I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Do you really think you're going to be happy? Do you think the other person's going to be happy? Do you think the kids are going to be happy? That dog is going to be pissed off. I'm being honest. And I was talking the other day, was it yesterday or the day before, about shame? Like, don't feel shame. What is supposed to happen is supposed to happen. We continuously put ourselves in those positions where we take on a lot of responsibility for ourselves and for others. And when something doesn't work out, like, we beat ourselves up about it. We can't get away from it. And at the end of the day, you got to try. You got to move on. You got to do it for yourself. Otherwise, you're never going to make it. You're never going to make it out of that mindset. And nobody should have to live there like that. And it really is, when you look at this, like, it really is somebody going through all the motions, like emotional, defeated, right? It's my fault. And then realizing, like, what is supposed to be is supposed to be. And I'm just going to say this too, if, you want to put the blame on a cheater. I mean, I was there. I was the cheater. You want to put the blame on the cheater, that's fine. But if you're with somebody that continuously cheats on you, that cheated on you before you got married, cheated on you after you got married, I'm just going to say it. Like, that is somebody that you were never supposed to be with. That was somebody who was never supposed to get married. Like, that is somebody that belongs to the single life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of funny that I'm saying this too, because I watched a post on TikTok of she's a judge on TV. She has her own show. Very funny, very nice, practical lady. And I cannot for the life of me remember her name. But there was a post on TikTok, and it was her telling this other woman, maybe you shouldn't have gotten married. If all you can think of is yourself, and you can't, put that connection first, or put that other person first, or put your family first, then maybe you were meant to be single. Maybe you were just meant to live the single life. And she's like, there's nothing wrong with that. And there isn't anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. The thing that is wrong with that is, when you're a man or a woman and you like variety in your relationships, but you try to pin yourself down to one person, and you get married knowing in the back of your mind, like, I'm not going to be happy here. I'm going to cheat on this person. My secretary, the guy, the milkman, the paper boy, whatever. Like, well, not boy, but you know what I mean. Like, there are just some people that aren't meant to be in monogamous relationships. They like to mess around. They like to have fun, right? Then go have fun. Don't burden yourself by getting into a relationship and getting married with someone. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that was my case. I mean, I cheated on my ex-husband because I was just very happy. Like I said, I was already gone. Like, in my mind, that relationship was already over. And not that that's any excuse to cheat. It's like the byproduct, right, of not leaving when you should leave. But I do enjoy being in a relationship. I do enjoy being with another person. I haven't found my person. Like, I don't want to be single for the rest of my life. Do I enjoy being on my own? Yes. But I mean, I've been celibate for 2 years. I'm not out there sleeping with every guy or woman I meet, because that's not who I am. That's not my life goal. Like, that's not what I want to do. But there are some people out there, like, that's what they do. They enjoy that. They like the variety. They like being with multiple people. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if that's your choice of lifestyle, it's kind of wrong to drag another person into that and be like, oh, no, no, it's fine. I'll be monogamous. Like, I can get married and have kids and be monogamous, when you know damn well you can't. And some people don't know. Some people don't know what the hell they want. Some people go through their whole lives chasing the next thing, the next best thing. The grass is greener, right? Because they don't know what the hell they want. They have no friggin' idea. Whoever this is, it's definitely a loss, but it's loss that's going to lead to empowerment, and it's loss that's going to lead to enlightenment, and it's going to lead somebody to choose better in the future for themselves. I'm going to leave it there. I hope it resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, if anything, you were entertained. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.